Hey, Dan, just going to hang out for a minute more, waiting on our instructor as well. So we'll get started in just a second.
Sounds good. Looks like I'm the only one, huh? Right. 30.
Hey there, Kevin. Just going to give our instructor another minute to hop on here. So we're just kind of in a hold for just a second. We should get started any minute. Hold on, you're muted. What'd you say?
I'm muted. I was like, for a second, I was like, is anyone talking or can I just not get audio or what's going on? But bet sounds good.
Yeah.
Sí. ¿Verdad que sí? Sí. ¿Y cómo valoras lo bueno si no tienes? ¿Verdad? Sí. Día a día, ¿verdad? Porque eso es muy pesado. Cuando nos vamos. ¿Y qué tal el agua? ¿Cómo es el Caribe? Las propiedades son caras, son baratas.
Sorry, guys. Every time I tried to log in, it was wanting to go into my personal.
Oh, it's no worries. It's no worries. We were hanging out for you. So Dan, I do have a recording today. We have been having trouble with our Zoom account with the recording functionality. So I'm actually having to record this to my machine today for
Okay.
the recording that goes out to everybody and gets posted on the Ignite YouTube channel or whatever. So my profile will remain in the room for the duration, although I probably won't be at my computer for most of it, just so you know. So it'll say my name as being here, but it's simply so that my computer can just record everything. I probably won't be here for the majority. And then, so for those of you folks that don't know, we have Dan Goss here today out of the Eugene Market Center. Dan's a principal broker with Eugene Real Estate powered by Place. That's a team within Keller Williams Realty. He has a background in business owning and operating, 2 packing and shipping franchises, and as a law enforcement deputy with the Lane County Sheriff's Office. Dan's been licensed since 2007 and has been with KW for the last 6 years. And so I'm going to turn things over to him for capture leads with open houses.
Awesome. Thank you. And so let me go ahead and open up the screen here for you guys. Oops. Share my screen first. And are y'all able to see that? No? Yes?
I just see you right now. I don't see your screen.
Okay, let me try that again. Share screen, multiple participants. And okay, so let's go to oops.
Yeah, I see it. Yep, you're good.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so so today what we're going to be talking about is capturing leads with open houses. How many of you have actually done an open house so far? Yes, no?
I shadowed somebody, but I didn't do it myself.
Okay, okay. What do you feel were the issues, if any, with the open house that you felt could be better to generate leads?
I mean, for me, I did one last weekend and then one on Wednesday, and it was just getting people to go. Like, honestly, it was pretty slow. Both, like, Saturday was probably the best day, and then Sunday was pretty slow, and then the Wednesday was pretty slow too. It was just like, and then the gal I was with, she's like, yeah, it's like kind of like expected right now, I guess, but we definitely could. I feel like could have done something to get more people there.
Okay. Did you do any door knocking or circle prospecting?
Yeah, well, it was the Angier team that was just like helping them out. And they definitely did like some door knocking on, at least on the weekend that I've overheard them saying. So yeah.
Okay, so they did the door knocking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Any challenges in their open houses?
So I've done 1 to 2 open houses for the last probably 3 weeks, basically every weekend since I've joined Keller Williams. However, so the first 2 were really good. The ones from not this past weekend, but the one before that were totally awful. Like, I think one property, the first property in the morning had one person show up both days, and then the second property towards the evening had the same thing. So it's a very long weekend, and kind of going back and talking to my team about it and so on and so forth. Looking at the history of a property, especially since we're kind of in a different market now with listings sitting there longer, depending on the listing. So looking at the history is very important. A townhome that I thought was a really good potential for, especially for first-time buyers, was taken off the market and they're relisted, and the history was basically just been sitting there with the listing agent for 3 months. So words of wisdom from my team is kind of just looking into the history of the property, getting a true view of how long it's been staying on the market, price adjustments, things like that, to kind of gauge essentially like what the flow of traffic would be. That doesn't mean it's, you know, good for every property, but it's definitely made me more aware of what to put my energy towards when offering to do open houses.
Okay, well, you know, those are problems that a lot of agents do have. And so hopefully, when we get through this, that what we'll do is we'll end up having the ability to describe the benefits of holding an open house, knowing what those benefits are, identify the best practices for opening for an open house, and then be prepared to hold an open house. You know, it's not just about, an open house isn't just about putting up an open house sign and then showing up and expecting that you're going to have a good open house. Your objective with an open house isn't not necessarily to sell that particular house, but to generate leads, to fill your pipeline. So with that being said, if you do have any questions, you know, just go ahead and, you know, open it up and let me know what your questions are, and we'll try to answer all your questions. So when we begin the session, your number one job is to gain leads. That's it. And then the one way that you can impact the number of leads you have is by open houses. There's other opportunities to generate leads, but today we're going to be talking about how to do that with an open house. So your open house, sell the house. Sometimes that happens. My last open house, I actually did manage to get a buyer to buy it, although it wasn't anybody that showed up. It was one of my buyers I was already working with, and I matched them up with the house. And then to capture the leads. So as a new agent, open houses can be easy, they can be fun, and it's obviously a low cost way of generating leads. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. So dispelling limiting beliefs. People feel that if they don't have a listing, that they can't hold an open house. And most of you, I'm sure, have been told that, find other houses that are listed by other agents. And don't limit yourself to just Keller Williams agents. So dispelling the belief that I don't have a listing to hold an open house. I don't have any signs yet. There's signs available to borrow. If you're doing an open house for somebody, ask them for signs. If you already have your signs, great, but don't let that limit yourself to having an open house if you don't have the signs. I may not know the answers to the questions visitors have. Be prepared when you go there. Ask other agents that are more experienced, what questions should you be prepared for? If you don't know the answer, don't pretend to know the answer. Just be honest. You know something? That's a great question. Let me go ahead and get your phone number and your email, and I will find the answers for you, and I'll get back with you. It's just another way to be able to capture, leads, contact information. Open houses don't really work because most people, whoops, I can't read that last part. Let me look here. I got pictures of you guys covering the last part. So.
Just look online.
To look online. Okay, so open houses don't really work because most people look online. Well, use online as a method to market your open house. You know, people look online to look at houses, at the pictures and things, but that doesn't mean that they don't want to see the house in person. I mean, frankly, I don't know anybody. There's only been a couple times that I have sold a house sight unseen, other than the pictures, where people don't want to come, and that's because they lived out in the area and they trusted that I would find the right property for them. So that's, you know, not necessarily the case. In fact, many times it's not the case that most people look online. So the open houses are important to have. And then I won't feel safe. If you don't feel safe doing an open house, team up with another agent. That's what I've done in the past is I've teamed up with other buyers agents that usually they're on my team, and we'll do an open house together. And that just is a way to not only be safer, but to be able to cover more people when they come in, because when you have multiple people coming in and you're there by yourself, it's really hard to capture everybody when they come in. I mean, there's times that I've been in a situation where I've done it by myself, go in, and then I've got multiple people coming through, and before I can get to somebody else, they're already out the door. So I didn't even get an opportunity to capture the lead. So sometimes working as a team is really good. Maybe what you do is you contact a lender that you're working with, or an escrow officer that you're working with, and say, hey, I'm doing an open house. I think it'd be really great if you came in and kind of marketed what you do, and we do this open house together. Many times lenders will actually foot the bill on refreshments for an open house, and it gives them the opportunity to be able to answer questions on the lender part, because people come in and go, well, I don't have a lender. What's the rates at? What is what lender questions? And what's nice is having that lender there to answer those questions for you. It makes you look more professional too. So we dispelled the beliefs, and so we're going to briefly cover capturing leads with the open houses. So open house, who benefits? Sellers benefit because their house is being exposed to multiple buyers. Buyers benefit because it gives them a chance to to look at the house in person, and without actually making an appointment. It benefits your neighbors because your neighbors inevitably, if you've done an open house, you get neighbors that come in and they're just curious. Well, they may be curious because they may be thinking about selling their house. So they want to see, well, what's this house look like and how much is it? And then it benefits you as the agent, because again, it's a cheap way to build a lead database. Oops, sorry. So setting goals, be purposeful and not entrepreneurial. Don't try to create the wheel, that's already been created. There's specific things that work best for open houses, and you need to find what those agents that hold the open houses that properly, that get tons of leads, emulate what they do. They're doing exactly what is supposed to be done to get those leads. So set your goals. What are your goals? My goals personally, when I do an open house, I'm going to knock at least 25 doors. That's 1 hour worth of work. And my goal is, and if I can get, if I've got time to do 2 hours, that'll get me 50 doors that I'm knocking on. So knock in the area around that open house. So that's a goal that I set. My other goal is, how long am I going to have this open house? Well, I used to have open houses for 4 hours. And what I found is if I limit that to 2 hours, it condenses the amount of people that are coming through that would have come through in that 4 hours, condenses them in 2 hours. And whenever you got more people coming through at the same time, it gives that sense of urgency that says, oh, wow, there's a lot of people, this house must, it must be a great deal. We like the house, so we better get an offer. What it does is it generates, multiple offers at times by doing it that way. What do you want for your sign in? How do you want people to sign in? Do you want them to sign in at the front door? Do you want them to sign, put something on the kitchen counter for them to sign in? How do you want to capture those leads? How do you want flyers, or do you want to do something different? I don't use flyers. I use a laptop. And when people want a flyer on it, I say, great, what's your email? And I'll send that flyer to you right now. I just captured their email. I have the MLS listing or flyer already made up. And so I just put it in an email and shoot it to them. And then I've captured their email. So just another way. So set your goals on how you want to do your open house. Picking the house. I don't highly recommend that an open house and a house that is on 30 acres of land out in Timbuktu is going to be a great open house for you. You want to pick those open houses that are in neighborhoods. That's your best shot at getting the most people. That's also the best way to canvas, because how are you going to canvas 25 homes, when you got 25 homes that cover, 2 square miles. So picking a house that is in a neighborhood, look at the price points too. Don't just pick a house, any house just because it's in a certain neighborhood. Look at the price points. Those houses between 350 and 500,000, those are your cream. That's where your best bet of getting the most people coming in, because that's where most of your buyers are going to be in that 350 to 500 range. If you look at the median price, it's 474, I believe. And so finding those homes in that area. 350 is the very bottom, because beyond that, most of them, most houses right now in this current market below 350, might have some issues, might not be able to go FHA. You want houses that can go FHA, VA, conventional cash, that's going to cover your biggest buyer market. So find that house in the right area at the right price point that's going to get you the most looks. Prepare, and it's not practice, it's practice. Somebody left out the P there. So prepare, prepare you for your open house, have everything ready, but practice also. Have certain questions that you're going to run into, and find a partner and just practice answering those questions. That's going to enable you to not be surprised when people come in to your open house and ask you a question that you're not prepared to answer. Pick the time. Again, the time, Saturdays and Sundays. Sunday afternoon is generally best because a lot of people go to church. They get out at 11 o'clock and noon. So I typically will do 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock for an open house on Sunday afternoon. Now, does that limit you to just one open house on Sunday? No, maybe you do noon to 2 on one open house, and then you do 3 to 5 on another open house. Give you an hour to get set up for the other one. Maybe do a little door knocking. But you can, there's no reason you can't do 2 open houses in a day if you limit it to 2 hours, on each open house. Thursday night happy hour, wine and cheese, open house. I've seen some high-end homes where they will actually have it catered, and people, it's amazing how many people come in whenever you cater lunch for them, or cater early afternoon or early evening dinner. Think of the area that you're in. Are you around a school? Maybe an after-school open house. Maybe have an open house from 3 to 5. People getting out of school, parents picking up their kids and coming by your open house. Maybe you're in an area more of a business area. Well, what about a lunch open house? Have people that are taking their lunch breaks and coming over, checking out your open house. Maybe have some snacks there at that open house so that they can eat and look at your house. So there's different times, different days that you can look at open houses. Don't just limit it to to only a certain day and a certain time. Prepare your stats. So it's really important to gauge your numbers. And part of that is gauging your open house. How many people showed up? How many people did you capture? How many doors did you knock on, and how much business did you get off of that? Door knocking isn't just inviting people to the open house. It's a way to engage and find out, more about people that they may be interested in selling their home. They may be interested actually in the house that's for sale, and a 2-for-1. You get to list it, and you get to sell them the house that you're doing an open house. I can pretty much guarantee you, if you knock on 25 doors, you're probably going to get one. You're probably going to get at least one client out of that. Well, in an hour's worth of work, that's not bad. And again, let me move this out real quick. Oops. All right, let me go back. And again, I can't read that behind you guys, so let me, and be safe. Okay. So again, we covered that a little bit, being safe, working in pairs. If you are by yourself, don't lead, and you feel uncomfortable with somebody, don't ever lead through the open house, always follow. You can point things out as they're going through, but you don't ever get in front of people. And then you guys all know about the orange file. Okay, if you're doing an open house during the week, or you have if you're doing doing a weekend, sometimes it's a good idea to connect with another agent to say, hey, I'm going to be doing an open house, and I just want to contact you if I need an orange file. Orange file is code that you don't feel right about something's going wrong, and you need to have them contact law enforcement, or they themselves need to come over and assist you. So all you're going to do is, if you don't feel right, you pick up the phone, you dial either the office during the weekdays, or an agent that you've teamed up with to be able to call, and you say, hey, hey, could you get me the orange file on such and such your address? So it's the address that you're at, so they know where you're at, and being able to do that. Trying to get this, I don't know why my thing is all weirded out, but anyway, so be safe. You can also, I know once in a while we have courses on self-defense, and I encourage that self-defense. If you got a CCW, keep it hidden, so you're not trying to scare off people, but at the same time, if you got a CCW, use it. If you have a CCW, it means you're proficient with a firearm. And so if you're not proficient with a firearm, I don't recommend taking a firearm. You know, you can, and I don't recommend mace. I recommend a taser. Mace can actually, you know, you can cripple yourself with mace if you happen to spray in the wrong direction, or say a door's open and so wind's coming in and you spray and end up getting it in your eyes or your face. So anyway, so that's just, you know, ways to be safe. So any ahas, anything that comes up that you didn't really think about? So you all knew that.
I
Okay.
guess on you said that if the house doesn't have to be part, like one of Keller Williams's house, like someone listening from the like Keller Williams.
No, it's you know, if you see it, if you're farming an area, so farming basically you're focused on one geographical area. Doesn't mean you're not able to do things outside. That's kind of what we teach people here at Place at Eugene Real Estate Group, is that we want to be the go-to agent in a certain geographical area. So each one of our agents has a geographical area that they want. And so what they do is they look at listings that come on the market in that geographical area, and it may not be a Keller Williams listing. They can always call that other agent and say, hey, you know, I would love to do an open house at your listing.
Sweet.
And most agents will say yes. Some agents are like, well, no, why would I have you do it, you know, and stuff like that, even though they didn't plan on it. And basically what they're doing is they're thinking about themselves and not thinking about their client, because what you're trying to do is expose their house to buyers, you know, for their client. So anyway, so that's a way of getting open houses outside, because not, you know, it's, you can see that listings are down a little bit, you know, but there's a lot on the market because you're not selling as fast. Well, you know, doesn't mean that you have to be restricted to waiting for a Keller Williams agent to get a listing in a certain area. So,
Is there anything special you have to do? Not really. You can do it. Just doesn't matter.
no, just say, hey, you know, I would love to do an open house in the area, and I saw that you had a listing in the area, and you know, I'd be happy to do an open house for you.
Sweet.
And you know, the worst that can happen is they say no.
Yeah.
You know, but you won't get it if you don't ask.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So prepare, prospect, and pursue. So the difference between big and really big is how you manage your time and focus. A proper open house will take a total of about 7 hours. So 7 hours means you're doing your marketing preparation. You're preparing by marketing your open house, your door knocking, your open house, and what's probably most important, follow up. If you don't follow up, all the work that you just did is out the door. Because what's going to happen is that, you know, if you don't follow up, those people are going to find somebody else at some point, and then you're going to see all of a sudden somebody in the neighborhood that you talked to is listing with somebody else because you didn't follow up. So follow up is really important. So preparing, most of the work for the open house. Admit, okay. I'm getting all kinds of little dings here. So most of the work of the open houses is done before the day or the day before the open house. So you've already got everything in your mind prepared because you did your practice, work, you did your marketing work. You did either your door knocking the day before or door knocking right before the open house. And, and I know that later on it'll say door knock, and, a week before the open house or that Monday or that Tuesday. I am not really for that, for the simple fact that people tend to be short-minded, when it comes to that. Do it either the day before or the day of, because then it's fresh in their mind. And when I do a door knock, I make out a flyer and I say, you're invited on the flyer. It's an invitation. I'm handing them an invitation. So I'm not trying to sell them on something or anything like that. I'm just inviting them to the open house. So I introduce myself and say, the reason I stopped by, I just wanted to invite you to our open house. And then carry on a conversation, find out more about them. Have you lived in the neighborhood a long time? Find out about them. Don't ask the yes or no questions. Ask questions where they have to engage. And once you do that, what you'll do is you'll build a relationship with that person, and then they start opening up to you, and you get to learn more about them. So practice your conversations. Practice asking questions. This is something you can do every day. I got my hair cut the other day, and I practiced questions that causes them to engage with the person cutting my hair. How long you've been cutting hair? What made you get into this profession? And we carried on a nice conversation, and I found out a lot about her, stuff. I said, great, and eventually they're asking what I do. And so I'm telling them what I did. So Monday, select the house. So sometimes I don't get a house until Wednesday, and I'm busting my butt to get ready for this open house if I wait till Wednesday. So if at all possible, find your open house the Monday before the open house. That way you got all week long. So Tuesday, post online, walk the neighborhood, invite neighbors to showing. That's what I was talking about. Inviting your neighbors to showing. I would move that down to Friday if you're having a Saturday open house, or the day of right before your open house. Invite people. As far as posting online, great to post it on Tuesday, repost it again. As you can see here, just keep posting it, keep posting it. So that every day people are seeing, oh yeah, there's an open house coming up. Install your yard signs on Wednesday, so you can do a rider that says open house Saturday from such and such a time to such and such a time. And that way, when people are doing drive-bys, they see that oh, you got an open house coming up. Thursday. Besides posting online, invite your database. So you can just send out a mass, either text message, I find works the best if you send out just a mass text message. If you have that, capability with your CRM, our CRM that we use, we can send out a mass email, we can send out a mass text. Plus we have a dialer that we can dial people pretty quick. But invite your database. Say, hey, I'm having an open house. Another way to invite your database is a lot of your friends and family are going to be friends and family on Facebook. So advertise on Facebook. Hey, a bunch of guys come out. I'm going to have an open house. Come out and say hi. Then Friday, post it online again, prepare marketing statistics. If you've got a good escrow officer that you work with, you can call them and they can put together a book of statistics, what the area, everything. It's a really good book to have, and take it with you on your open house if it's not your listing. If it's my listing, I've got that book there the whole time. Ask escrow, hey, can I get a stats book for my open house? Can I get that book about, that has all the information? Some of them will print out the pages, but then you have to get the binder. We use Evergreen, and they do it and put it in a binder for us, and then they'll deliver it to you. So anyway, check with your escrow to see if they do the pages or if they put the pages in a binder and they just deliver it to you. So what clients like to know: community and neighborhood information, relocation information, first-time homebuyer specifics, and then mortgage information. So as far as mortgage information, you can go to your lender and get, and they generally will have a printout showing current rates, what product that they offer on loans, and so on. And so you can have that book, and you can have your lender information there too. So build trust and rapport. Again, asking questions about them. Oh, what brings you by today? Are you looking to buy, or are you just kind of checking out for potentially selling your home, seeing what the prices are? What brought you to this? If they live in the area, if they're next door neighbor or something like that. Oh, what made you come to this neighborhood? What did you like about this neighborhood? What don't you like about this neighborhood? What do you like least? What do you like best? Get to know them. Just ask questions about them, and eventually you'll have a lot of information. You'll find a way to relate with them. Provide value. Okay, I have a flyer that I am able to give them. Another item of value. I put together a list of open houses all around in the area of like homes. Say, hey, I've got a list of other open houses. I'm more than happy to send that over to you. Again, I email it to them. So I just keep it in a PDF and I send that over to them. Capture information and qualified leads. So a lot of people have problems with people signing in. What I've done that I found has worked the best is I have a portable table that I set outside the door if it's a covered area, or just inside the door if there's not a covered area. I have my sign-in book. I do not have a sign-in sheet specifically for that open house. I keep the sign-in sheet as a running log. And what you can do is you can put a number that is your key to which open house it is. And so you can put number 1, and then you got a key. Okay, number 1 is associated with such and such an address. And then when you start another new open house, you can put number 2, and then that number 2 is associated with such and such an address, and just kind of put that on the side. Those names are associated with that open house. But by keeping a running log, people can see everyone's signing in, everyone's signing in, everyone's signing in. Start with a few of your own clients, just put their information in and make it complete so people can see that everybody is completing it all the way. And then I have that sign-in sheet, and with a 8.5 by 11 says sign in, and put it right there. If somebody says, oh, I'm not signing in, you can say, I tell them, well, the owner wants to know who all is coming through the house, you know, and part of that is, you know, for, you know, to make sure that, you know, security wise, that they have all that information. I understand that, you know, you feel that you don't need to, you know, sign in, but if you don't, then, you know, the seller is giving the instructions, you know, not to allow people to come through. Because I've had people do that. I say, well, oh, sorry, you know, it's what the seller wants for security reasons. And, you know, and and they end up signing in, or they walk away. If they walk away, you wouldn't have captured them anyway. You didn't have any idea who it was. So I have that sign up right there. When they come in, I'm engaging them, and I'm asking them, you know, those questions. What brought you out? You know, asking them questions, getting to know them. You know, I say, hey, you know, feel free to look around. I'll be able to answer any questions, and I follow them through. Because as they're going through, they're asking each other's questions, or they're making comments, and I can follow up with those comments and engage. And then again, I don't use flyers at the open house. I want to capture their email. Another step is that if they give me their email to send them a flyer, that's great. If you know, sometimes things, you know, get in your spam or something, you mind, you know, I go ahead and get your phone number and follow up with you, make sure that you got it. So capturing information and qualify the leads. Qualifying would be, you know, are you looking, you know, are you looking in the market to buy, or are you just curious as to, you know, the neighborhood and pricing? Find out, you know, if they are. If they're a buyer, find out if they've got an agent. If they don't have an agent, find out if they've met with the lender and to get pre-qualified. You know, ask those questions and start working with those people. Put them in your database and start following up with them. Build trust and rapport. So greet everybody that comes through the door, engage in conversation, always be positive. You know, smile, always be positive. Provide value. So know your team stats. You know, we've got our team stats, you know, printed out, how many we sell, you know, each year. What if you don't have a team, you don't have team stats, use the TMOs. The TMOs are great value of information. The market stats, that's the TMO. The TMO is going to show you, you know, hey, in this area, you know, this is what the average price point is. This is how long it's on the market, you know, stays on the market. This is what the average sale price is in this area. Having that information. Understand your personality types. If I've got somebody who's analytical, I'm going to be showing them TMO. I'm going to show them stats. You know, if they're analytical, they're you know, they're an accountant type of person. Stats mean everything. If you know, if they you know, if everything is, you know your disc and know the people in those different areas. You know, if somebody is more interested in stuff that feels good to them, then that's what you're talking about. You know, you're talking about things about the house, the neighborhood, and so on and so forth that are going to touch them on a personal level. And then have something to offer your visitors. Like I say, you know, I have open houses around the area, something of value. You know, that's something that, you know, people appreciate. Oh yeah, sure. You know, I saw this open house. I didn't know there was others. Doesn't mean that you're trying to sell somebody else, that you're trying to lead them to somebody else's open house, what you're doing is you're showing them that you care about them, and it's not about caring about yourself. Have a sign-in sheet. We talked about that. Use command. Command. You can do your input on the on their contact information that they give, everything else, to be able to get that in right away so that you've got it in your database. Use the KW app. Show them the KW. That's another item of value. Show them that you can just press press a button and it'll show them all the houses that are on the market in the area. Show them how cool the app is, and then offer it to them. And then, of course, asking questions. We covered that. Remember that you're there to get leads and appointments. Okay, it's not just a matter of showing the house. You're there to get leads and appointments. And so treat an open house that way, and you'll have a lot better opportunity to gain leads. Follow up and convert leads after open houses. So update your database. Make sure that you have all the information right then and there in your database before you follow up with these people, because you're going to want to put your notes in your database on your contacts, and it's better to be prepared before you make contact with them. Follow up with all attendees. So I'm going to expand on that. So it's not only important to follow up on all attendees, but the people that you door knocked, that you built a rapport with and got information. Typically, the one that I get most information is people that are looking to maybe make a move, and I'll do a market report for them, and I will also look for houses for them. I'll put them in a listing alert. And so I've had their information, but I'm also going to follow up with them after the open house. Hey, it was great meeting you, and just wanted to let you know that I'm following up with what we talked about, and this is what I'm doing for you. Reevaluate the goals that you set. So maybe you didn't reach your goals, but you had a pretty good turnout. You gained a couple of people to put in your database, and so maybe readjust your goals for the next one. Maybe you exceeded your goals, so the next one, make your goals a little bit more. Just know what changes that you make for the next time. So now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about planning an open house, which I think we pretty much, what we covered. So anyone have any ahas out of that, or any questions? What we covered?
Well, I guess for me, it was kind of planning when it comes to planning the open house, thinking about, like your piece of advice about like Sundays are a good time between this and that. People get out of church, or if you're near a school, do it, 3 to 5 when they're, going to pick up their kids, or, a lunch hour in a business area, and kind of putting some thought into that instead of just going, I'm going to be here Saturday from 1 to 3,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's thinking outside the box, and looking at your geographical area, what goes on in that geographical area, and not limiting to just the weekend to do open houses. Each open house, if it's done correctly, each open house is good for 1.5 closings. If you're doing it right, 1.5 closings. So you could literally just do open houses and make a 6-figure income off of open houses if you do them right. In fact, you can talk to Nick Nelson. Nick Nelson, does everyone know who Nick Nelson is? Nick Nelson is the #1 individual agent, not only in Keller Williams, but I think also in Lane County. He closes between 70 and 80 units a year by himself. I mean, he's got a part-time assistant, you know, and things, but he's an independent agent. He moved from Alaska, didn't know anybody here. And how he did that is open houses, door knocking, social events. He plugged himself into he's now part of 3 nonprofits, and he's on the boards of all 3 of these nonprofits. You know, Chamber of Commerce, professional groups that meet, you know, stuff. He just did everything that he could to build a database because he didn't know anybody. And, you know, his best year, he did 80 transactions all by himself. You know, so, you know, when you look at that, you say, well, I don't know anybody. I say, so what? Get out there and find some people. You know, there's ways to do that. And open houses are a great way to do it if they're done correctly. So just recapping, open house best practices: set your goals, pick the house, prepare and practice, pick the time, prepare stats, and very importantly, be safe. If you do an open house in an area that is a high crime area, and I can tell you those areas, or in a very remote area, I recommend doing it as a team. Benefits of the open houses: inexpensive way to gain leads. It's a good prospecting tool. A high return on investment, you know, because you're not investing a whole lot. You're just, most of it's investing time, and you get a high return on investment. Qualified leads, you know, so you can, people coming to open houses tend to be people that are actually looking to buy, or their neighbors who are looking, and that maybe they're looking to find, you know, because they're thinking about selling their house. Prepare, prospect, and pursue. So prepare, just, you know, like I say, practice. Be prepared for your open house. Prepare early. Prospect is to not just prospect your people coming through the open house, but to door knock the area, to circle prospect, which is another way to follow up after an open house, is when it goes pending. I'm going to circle prospect, or I'm going to go back and door knock and say, hey, we're pending on this. We had a lot of interest. Do you happen to know anybody in the neighborhood's talked about selling their house? Are you thinking about making a move in the next year? You know, another way to follow up. When it sells, when it closes. Hey, you know, we closed this house, still got people looking in the area. You know, I usually, what I'll do is I'll make it 2 door knocks and a circle prospect. Circle prospecting, we use Mojo, which is a dialer that will, you bring up an address and it'll give you all the names and numbers of people that are all around that area within whatever area that you decide. You want to spread it out. You want to go, you know, quarter mile, half mile, or you want to go ahead and you know, put a line around the area that you want, and it brings up, and it's pretty cool because, you know, I mean, I can call a lot of people in a short period of time, and then I just have a email or not email, a voicemail that I drop in, that if they don't answer it, my voicemail drops in, says, hey, Dan Goss with Keller Williams Realty, and we've had a lot of interest in the area. Just wanted to find out if you're thinking about making a move in the next year. Give me a call. Have a great day. Yeah. So, and then importantly is pursuing. That's your follow-up. Pursue those, you know, pursue those leads with follow-up.
I have a quick question, and I apologize if you covered this. I must miss it, but on preparing stats, is there, I mean, I'm assuming there's certain specific ones you always want to have with on hand.
Well, like I say, the TMOs, I think, are probably the best stats that you can use. Those are the best stats that you can use for buyers. Those are the best stats you can use in listing appointment, is those TMO stats. So it shows that basically you are professional enough to know what's going on in the market you're showing. The TMO stats also, if you got say a seller, and this is kind of getting off the open houses, but the idea is to potentially get a listing out of an open house too by door knocking. But on your listing appointments, if you have your TMO report and somebody says, well, I want to sell my house for X this much, and you know that they're way overpriced, that TMO report shows them, hey, it may be what you want for it, but this is where it needs to be. So you've got your comps and your TMO report. Your comps are going to show what the true value is. We use a 5, 5, and 5 on ours. We do 5, we want to capture 5 active listings, 5 pendings, and 5 solds, and show them. That's going to give them a true idea of what the market is. And when we look at, some people are still going back 6 months, 8 months, a year on their comps. Don't do that. The market's changed. You want to go back 90 days on your comps. So, anyway, you got your comps and you got the TMO report. Your comps are going to show where these houses are priced at, and this is where your house should be priced at. TMO report is going to show them this is how many days on market, this is what the average price is, and this is where you fall in line. This is how many days on market before it's sold on average. So this is what you can expect. What we're going to do is we're going to try to beat those averages because we know the numbers, we know the area. By being prepared with your numbers, that's going to add more professionalism to them. It's going to make you appear more professional, which we already are all professional. But let's show how professional we are by knowing the numbers. And then again, you can also get stats. You can get some stats on the neighborhood and stuff like that from the escrow companies. And so use what's available. I mean, it doesn't cost anything. Those escrow companies are there to help us. And so utilize that. In fact, if you haven't, what I would do is if you've got a particular escrow officer that you like using or that you want to use, or you're not sure, interview them, and then ask them what can they do for you. There's some cool tools out there that escrows offer. So how's it you're thinking? Has it changed a little bit? I mean, I know that there's some things that have come up that have been in your ahas or that you're thinking about. So, hopefully what it is that you're thinking has changed a little bit about open houses, realizing what an opportunity that they are, and that you're not as going into an open house, basically not knowing really what to do. We want you to know exactly what to do, what the expectation is. You block the time on everything that you're doing. Block your door knock time. Block your time that you're going to be doing all your marketing. Block that time so that you know exactly what your use of time is going to be in that certain block. And then do it. Don't let anybody distract you. That time is blocked for certain thing. So when you block that time, do exactly what that time was blocked for. And then how will your behaviors be different going forward? I kind of get an idea of just talking to some of you, what you're thinking now. and then knowing what actions that you will take. And then tools, and we talked about the tools, about the things that you can have access to that will help with you, with your professionalism, and that basically makes you accountable. So Davis, I think, let me see, how are we sitting on time here? So we covered a lot in an hour. And I think, let's see if this was actually part of this open house. Because I know this is supposed to be a 2-hour course, but I think we're probably going to be getting through it a lot faster. Yeah, I think this daily success system is not part of this training. So what I'd like to do is, let me get stop share. There we go. So I think that kind of covered the open houses, and that was part of this training. What I think I'd like to do is, for I'll if it's an hour question, that's fine. But just answer any questions. Try to help you with any other stuff that you might be curious about. Maybe even things outside open houses. It's your time. And I want to make sure that I'm here to answer any questions that help you. I mean, because that's the whole idea, is that we're helping you to succeed in this business.
A quick question about, you talk about for the open house posting online every day. I'm assuming, are you just talking like Facebook, social media? I mean, where else would you post that?
Social media, I on as many the classified ads, open house, on the market space on Facebook. I advertise on Craigslist. Make sure that you mark open house and MLS. That will lead into your open house. Then it'll put it onto Zillow and Redfin and Realtor.com. And
Okay, so if you put it on if you put the open house in our MLS, it'll automatically put
it
it in.
automatically goes into
Oh,
those.
okay, that was the question I had.
Yeah. So it automatically goes in there. Like I say, the door knocking, I don't care if they come to the open house or not. I do the door knocking because I'm pretty sure if I do 25 door knocks, I'm going to get somebody that is talking about, selling their house. The last time I door knocked 25 doors, I was late getting there, so I only had an hour to door knock, and so I door knocked on 25 doors. I got 3 people talking about selling their house, and I started working with one in particular that wanted to sell their house and buy a house with a little bit bigger yard. And then I've been sending houses to another gentleman who is backed up to a canal, has a very small backyard, wants a bigger backyard. And then I've got another one that wants to move away from their neighbor. So, I mean, 3 potential listings and 3 potential, buyers, on 25 door knocks. And so yeah, it doesn't take a lot, but don't go into it asking, saying, oh, hey, I'm Dan, I'm Dan Goss with Keller Williams Realty. Just want to find out if you're interested in selling your home. That's not going to get you anywhere. what you want to do is you want to offer them something of value. Well, what you're offering them is an invitation to come and see your open house. The invitation is the item of value. And then you offer more items of value. If they're saying, well, that they're curious about what their home is worth, set up an appointment. Say, hey, I'd be happy to come in and tell you what your home is worth, and stuff. I've got to do this open house. I can meet you, I can meet you at 4 o'clock this afternoon, or I can meet you at 1 o'clock tomorrow. What would work best for you? And you're giving them something more value. Maybe they're interested in, in buying, but they want to find a home first, stuff. Great. What are you looking for? Are you looking in a certain area in particular that you're most interested in? How many bedrooms and baths do you need? Blah, blah, blah. And then you say, great, I'll set you up with I'll set you up with my website. You can do some searches on there, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to set you up with my own personal hot sheet, and I'm going to personally look for homes for you. So it's something about, well, we all set up hot sheets, on MLS and stuff for buyers. Well, it's how you phrase it. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to set you up with my personal hot sheet. I'm personally going to look for houses for you. That sounds like something more valuable than just saying, well, I'll set you up with a hot sheet and MLS and send you properties. So it's just how you phrase things that adds more value. So I take it everyone is new to real estate, or has somebody been in real estate with another company?
Yeah, no, I'm new. I've been like 3 months around there.
Okay.
I guess like what are like the most common questions, like I guess when you have an open house that you like come across that people actually ask you that you think we should know?
How long has it been on the market?
Okay.
Yeah. Does the fridge come with the kitchen? Just general questions like that. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get them to open up more, like you asking them questions. And so, when you ask them questions, you're going to find out a lot more about them instead of just waiting for them to ask you questions. And, typically I'll volunteer the information, when they go through a kitchen, I'll say, and the fridge comes with before they even ask. Because I know if I don't, they're going to ask anyway. Yeah. So, sometimes if there's a carpet that's not in great shape, they'll ask you if they're going to replace the carpet, or, and, say, well, what we can do is we, be more than happy to, put that in on an offer for you, is, that that's part of the offer, is that they replace the carpet or offer you a credit.
Okay.
Yeah, but, also, like I say, find out. Don't hesitate to ask, after you get to know them, find out if they are actually buyers, and stuff, or are you working with a realtor? And I actually put it on my sign-up sheet. I just put, are you working, do you have a realtor? And, yes or no columns and stuff. And so I can just, I can look at it and tell, but I'll ask them too, because sometimes I'll just mark yes, and stuff. But when you're in a conversation, what you find out is that, they've, there's been a few realtors that have been sending properties and stuff. Oh, are you committed to any one realtor? No, not if they've got properties being sent by several different realtors.
Yeah.
They're not committed. So what you want to do is show that you have value to them, to be their realtor. And the more follow-up you do with that person, the more likely they are, if they are, to have you as their realtor and do business with you. Any more questions? Looks like most everyone bugged out.
I mean, a lot of people don't like open houses or like the style of open houses that maybe it's too much for them. That's like, I don't know, that's how I feel. I personally like open houses. That's why I've been like, tuning in, because like, I don't know, I like the style of business that way. You actually get to like talk to people like hand to hand, where if you like just calling, you don't really get like
Yeah,
on their cues.
well, even when you're calling, following up, you're trying to follow up. Your follow-up should be to gain appointments to get face-to-face. You know, if you know, somebody came to your open house, isn't represented, you know, you're following up with them, their buyer, say, hey, you know, I know we didn't get a lot of chance to talk, but I'd like to go ahead and set up a time that we can meet. You know, I can either meet you at your place, or we can meet at my office. You know, and I mean, Callaway was, you can see the great facility that it is and stuff, that, you know, you've got 2 meeting rooms, you've got that, you know, shoot, sometimes I'll even meet somebody and we'll go sit on the couches in there, you know, just kind of
Yeah,
sit
no,
back, relaxed atmosphere, you know, offer them a drink, and, you know, and preferably, you know, not alcohol. You don't know, you don't know if they drink or not. You don't want to send somebody away that's a little bit drunk either. So, but you know, we've got, you know, water, tea, coffee, you know, so. But anyway, my office, I do have an office here. I don't know if you've seen it. I'm kind of diagonal across the hall from his office. And I'd be happy to answer any questions. And so, you know, feel free to stop by anytime other than between 2 and 5.
word. Sounds good.
That's my dialing time. That's when I'm going to be on the phones, between 2 and 5.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All righty. Well, you guys have a great day, and good luck. And like I say, I'm here to answer questions anytime.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.